Hi, friends, and welcome back to another episode of What Would Monica Do? If you haven't gotten the memo, you need to be a part of the behind the scenes bubble so that you can leave your juicy question and every question gets answered. Of course, by the time you leave it, it may take a few weeks because I do try and record my podcast ahead of time, but they do all get answered. So if you do have a burning question, it's definitely worth joining. It is $10 a month. That is it. It's worth joining if you have a burning question. So today I am answering Tamara's question. And I'm going to listen to it right now and then we shall jump in.
What would you do if you've been nothing but nice, really put yourself out there for someone, and this other person is sort of going behind your back and just talking about you in a bad way? This doesn't happen to me. It's happening to someone really close to me, but it just really annoys me. How do you deal with people where you've been nothing but nice to them and actually offered to pay for something for them or offered to pay accommodation or whatever, and they're just going up for wrong intentions or whatever, and now they're talking about you? I don't understand that. But what would you do, Monica?
Well, this is a very simple answer. I do not deal with people that are bitches or that are annoying or that disrespect me or whatever. I just don't have time for it. I don't have the energy for it. And I really went through this phase end of last year, so end of 2021, where I had my fourth surgery on my knee. And I was living in New York, and I obviously didn't have anybody, as in I didn't have any family. I was paying out of pocket. The whole thing was kind of stressful. And it was Christmas time. I needed it done quite urgently. I was having extraordinarily bad pain in my knee. If you don't remember, or if you don't know, if you're a new follower or a new listener, I had a really bad ski accident a few years ago. My knee's pretty fine, but what was happening was basically I would just be doing nothing and my knee would just go, is the best way to describe it. And I would just have this excruciating pain pulse through my body and my knee would just completely collapse. And I could be doing nothing. And it would happen when I would be just standing in the kitchen talking to somebody. It happened one time when I was waiting to hail down a cab and I was again just standing there. So I was something is wrong. What it actually felt like, which sounds so gross, is it felt like a piece of bone was stuck in between my joints, and it would get in there and it would, my knee would go to bend or the pressure, it would just I don't know how to describe it, but it felt like all of a sudden it would just hit this chipped piece of bone, and that pain is what would cause my knee to collapse and my whole leg to collapse. Anyway, so I had to have surgery, and I really was going through this phase where I was just detoxing people. I feel that's the best way to describe it. I was detoxing people. I had given a lot to people. I'd made a lot of effort in New York with making friends when I moved back there. The friends that I did have there, a lot of them left during the pandemic. So I made a lot of effort of making friends, and I would be throwing all these parties. I would be organizing things, blah, blah, blah. And I just had this moment where I was I'm going to stop doing that for everybody and let's see what happens. So it was actually a really healing time because I got rid of so many people that I thought were, and this isn't to say they were bad people. I'm not saying they were bad people. It's just that I really thought that they were there for me or a good friend, and they weren't. And that's okay. I feel we have become very sensitive as a society. I know we have, and we take everything so personally. It's okay if someone doesn't like you. It's okay if you are just not a priority for them. It doesn't mean that you are a bad person. Sorry, it doesn't mean they're a bad person. Okay. It's just something that's a fact of life. We have to deal with it and move on. So what it allowed me though, was it really allowed me to see the friends that were truly, truly there for me. They would come over, they would just hang out. I had friends that would, between their work day, they would just come by because I couldn't walk or anything. They would come by my apartment, and I didn't have a backyard, obviously, to let the dogs out. I was in an apartment. I had a balcony, but that was it. So, and it was winter time. So the dogs did need to go outside, just for a little bit, nothing crazy. And the dogs have to go outside any season, but anyway. So I would have friends that would literally come over between work meetings, grab the dogs, take them for a little walk around because they'll be going stark raving mad in the apartment, would just check on me. Can I get you anything? Cup of tea? Can I clean the apartment for you? And then would head out. And I have goosebumps. I need to text you guys. Actually, I'm going to text those of you. This is a beautiful reminder for me to do this episode. I'm going to text you all that did it and just say that I'm thinking of you, because now that I don't live there anymore. It was just such a beautiful time for me where I got to let go of people that weren't serving me and that didn't have my best interests at heart and that just weren't invested in the friendship. So if somebody was being a bitch behind my back, if I was going out of my way to be kind to somebody and it wasn't being replicated, or they were saying bad things about me, or they were talking behind my back, that's fine. Goodbye. Very simple. Like, we don't need to overthink it. You don't need to try and fix the situation. You don't have to talk to them. I'm not going to tell you to do any of that. No, just let them go. Like, the energy required to try and talk to someone that engages in that kind of behavior. The thing is, you have to understand it's the same with narcissists, as like, you are not going to get through to them. And I will do an episode on narcissists. I know you guys are asking for one. You are not going to get through to them. If somebody that is engaging in that kind of behavior cannot see that it's damaging, you trying to like overexert yourself to fix the situation, it's not going to work. All that's going to happen is you're going to lose. You're going to lose your time, your energy, and your sanity. So just cut it off. And the situation, you don't even need to like make it a verbal thing of like, I'm cutting you off. Just stop talking to them. Disengage. Like, it's so simple. I did that with people in New York. I just stopped talking to them. I disengaged. I didn't tell them I'm no longer your friend. It was just simply, we went our separate ways. I don't have any hard feelings towards them. If they texted me and apologize or something, I'd be like, honestly, don't worry about it. It's not a big deal. Why? Because we're all human and humans are busy. Humans don't have time to be friends with everybody, you know, or people are going through their own shit and they're projecting it in really unhealthy ways. Like, it doesn't mean that you need to accept shitty behavior. What it means is don't let shitty behavior drain you, and don't let shitty behavior become this thing that you are constantly thinking about and worrying about, because it isn't fucking worth it. It's just like, move on. And some people can see that as like people are surprised by me being able to do that, because some people are like, wait, isn't that like being like unempathetic? I'm like, no, this is how you protect your fucking energy. Like, being an empath, being someone that's sensitive, being someone that's tuned in to people's pain and energy and emotions means that I have to do this and you have to do this even more so, because otherwise you will be so drained all the time, taking on everybody else's shit. Like, it is vital for you to be able to put up a wall sometimes between you and a situation or you and a person, so that you are not constantly drowning in the pain of humanity, because there is a lot of pain in the world. And imagine if I was constantly feeling and letting myself feel all that pain, I wouldn't even be able to do my job. Like, that separation, that ability to just cut off something is actually really, really important. It's not you being avoidant. It's not you having a trauma response. If you are consciously choosing to cut something off and not let it affect you, you are consciously choosing to do so. Trauma is an unconscious response, if that makes sense. That doesn't mean that then you don't care. It doesn't mean that it doesn't hurt. Like, this doesn't mean that any of this does not hurt. This does not mean that having shitty people do shitty things to you doesn't hurt. It does hurt. But if you are constantly living your life to appease and please somebody else, it will literally eat you alive and cause so much dis-ease in your body and misalignment. You will start to feel the physical effects of it. Don't do it to yourself. So when it comes to them going up about the whole like wrong intentions, like, again, you know your true intentions. Just disengage. Like, why do you want somebody in your life that badly that is making you second guess yourself, making you feel drained, making you feel anxious or stressed? Bye-bye, Felicia. Like, it's really as simple as that. We don't need to overcomplicate it. Bye-bye, the end, moving on. So simple, so simple. Ladies, that is your What Would Monica Do episode for today. Short, sweet, to the point. If you haven't already subscribed to the episode and left a review, I would really, really appreciate it if you do so. I appreciate the 250 of you, 50 something of you that have already left reviews. Thank you from the bottom of my heart. If you haven't and you love the podcast, it literally takes you 3 seconds. Like, as you're listening to the next one, just quickly scroll down on iTunes or on Spotify, click review and write a quick review in there. It really doesn't take long, and it means the world to me, and it helps boost the podcast up in the algorithm so that more people can find this really life-changing and important information. And of course, don't forget to follow me on Instagram, follow the podcast on Instagram as well, so you don't miss out on chicken nuggets, new episodes X, Y, and Z. And if you haven't signed up to the wait list for my next event in 2023, you are going to want to, because this event is not to be missed.